Impression management refers to the process by which individuals present information about themselves in order to create an appearance they want others to perceive them as. In this presentation, I will discuss impression management, some tactics used for impression management, how the impacts of impression management change over time, and the ethical concerns surrounding impression management. First, I will discuss impression management and some of the techniques used by individuals to sway others' perceptions. The notion of impression management was first conceptualized by Erving Goffman and has since been discussed and expanded upon in much research. According to Nagy et al., much of this research focuses on the ways individuals behave when trying to create and manipulate perceptions of themselves within the minds of others. These perception manipulations can either be positive or negative. A variety of techniques, which can include ingratiation, self-promotion, exemplification, intimidation, and supplication, can be employed by individuals to manipulate impressions. The first three techniques are often used to shed a positive light on the person doing the behavior. Ingratiation refers to complimenting others to seem more likable or attractive. Self-promotion involves showcasing one's abilities or talking highly about oneself to seem more competent, while exemplification is the act of going above and beyond given requirements to appear as a role model, model friend, or employee. Intimidation and supplication are tactics used by individuals to create negative impressions of themselves. Individuals can use intimidation to act in a threatening manner or create an air of danger. Supplication, on the other hand, allows individuals to advertise their own limitations. Behaviors such as acting helpless allow individuals to appear needy. Next, I will discuss how the impacts of impression management change over time. A lot of research focuses on the short-term effects of impression management. Bellino et al. Suggests that this is problematic since responses to initial attempts of impression management are often viewed and responded to differently than subsequent attempts. During the initial stages of interpersonal communication, both parties are gathering informative but not solidified information about the other. During the next stages, and as the parties get to know each other more through communicating, impressions tend to become more well-defined. One party is no longer simply relying on the impression management techniques displayed by the other party to make informed decisions about that party. As an interpersonal communication continues, impressions become relatively stable and less likely to be influenced by impression management techniques. The idea that impressions stabilize over time suggests that impression management techniques are more effective in earlier stages of interpersonal communication than at later stages. It also suggests that once formed, impressions can be difficult to change. To better illustrate these changes, let's compare going to a job interview versus receiving a supervisor's evaluation of job performance. Within this context, we will focus on the effectiveness of self-promotion. When interpersonal communication begins, interviewers often have limited information on which to base their evaluations. They are more likely to be influenced by self-promotion impression management techniques. Supervisors, on the other hand, should already have substantial knowledge about an employee as the relationship is in the later stages, and they have had more opportunity to gather information. Thus, supervisors would be less likely to be influenced by self-promotion impression management techniques and their impressions to be more fixed. Now I will discuss some of the ethics surrounding impression management. Impressions are important as they can be used as a tactic of influence. According to Provis, recent research has questioned the extent to which impression management is deceptive and therefore ethically problematic. While most research commonly agrees that there is nothing inherently unethical or ethical about impression management, there are instances where impression management is unethical. Identifying these instances can be beneficial to a good communicator. One major consideration involving the ethical concerns surrounding impression management is the use of deception. Carlson et al. Suggests that individuals engage in deceptive impression management because they can expect that behavior to result in the favorable outcomes they desire. However, it is important to note that deceptions are not always successful, and there are risks associated with being caught while being deceptive. In most cases, being seen as a liar or manipulative would not be helpful in managing the positive impressions that are trying to be created. Other ethical considerations include intention and the accuracy of the conclusions drawn. If an individual sets out to be deliberately deceive or falsely provide an impression, their actions are probably unethical. Aiming to harm, be unfair, be unrespectful, installing false beliefs, or failing to fix incorrect conclusions may be considered unethical uses of impression management. There is no hard and fast rule to determine when these considerations are problematic. However, it is obvious that they can be in certain situations. Looking more closely at situations where these tactics are used can help determine whether an individual is being ethical or not. Finally, I can conclude that impression management is an important piece of interpersonal communication, and understanding impression management can increase one's effectiveness as a communicator. In conclusion, I have discussed what impression management is, some of the tactics used for impression management, the impacts of impression management over time, and the ethical concerns surrounding impression management. Mastering the art of impression management helps individuals become more effective interpersonal communicators. Does anybody have any questions? All right, thank you.